Let's look at the way that government organises itself. Departments have responsibilities for things like funding and regulation and advice, so they need a structure for delivering those. And over time, and usually pretty quickly, that structure comes to define everything about how the department does its delivery. And there's no easy way around that, really. That is just the way that human beings are wired up. If you group social animals together, they tend to form hierarchy and specialisation. And in government, that looks like directorates and functions and ALBs and agencies. And as time goes on, that useful specialisation turns into siloed delivery. This becomes very problematic when government tries to do the things that it needs to do. So citizens have very different needs when they're, for instance, a hospital outpatient versus applying for a passport. And you would expect the organisations that deliver those different services to be different, but they're not. They're basically all organised the same way. And ironically, if you and your colleagues talk about service transformation, most likely your conversations are going to come back to this internal structure rather than rethinking the external delivery in a way that makes more sense to users. And that's just because instinctively we tend to look from the inside out. But the big unlock in terms of transformation is to flip that view around and look from the outside in. So how do you do that? Service lines are a way of grouping together external services and internal capability to make delivery more effective and user-centred. The thing to avoid is coming back to these silos like programs or operations or IT. These are not your service lines. You need to design services that cross the organisation and are focused on users, not structure. So the first thing to do is pick a group of users and think about how you'll help them meet a specific set of needs. Let's take an example from education. Parents and guardians often need to access a range of services when they send a child to school. So they may need to find a school place. They may need to apply for free school meals, or they may need to get help with a problem at school. Now, this is a logical grouping because it makes sense to a citizen, especially if they're likely to access multiple services over time or as part of a wider journey, but it's also a logical grouping inside the organisation because these services should share organisational resources. They should share data because you don't want users to have to keep re-entering the same information about a child. They should share technology and platforms because you want these services to be interoperable. They should share people because you want long-lived, multidisciplinary product teams that have the skills and subject matter expertise to support these services. And they should share governance because as the services mature and evolve, you want that to be based on good data-driven decision-making. So now you've got a model where citizens can access a range of organisational capabilities in a way that makes sense to them. And that is a service line.